How long has it been since this has been started? This is like a dozen years in the making.
Yeah, I believe it was 2002.
That's the year that I graduated.
And that was when you started on the radio at Eastern.
That is when News for the Caffeinated first started taking precedence. But I almost imagine that News for the Caffeinated goes back further than that, back to the days of high school when I first started realizing, hey, if I drank these funny colored drinks in the shape of grenade that I buy across the street, they make me feel good and energized.
Hi, I'm EricTheReDD.
I'm Rickshaw Tom.
And this
is News for the Caffeinated.
It's a grenade!
It's a drink! It's a grenade! It's a grenade! A drink! It's gonna drop a bomb on my existence!
And just look at it now. It's spanned 2 states, 2 radio stations, and now it's jumping formats completely.
I would say it's also jumping several hundred energy drink reviews. Not even energy drink, but anything we found that was caffeinated, including teas, coffee, energy drink, soap!
Well, the plus with this new series and how we're starting over is we are just that, starting over, so we can start from scratch.
We can.
Yeah.
And it feels good about that.
And then, there's some of the long bygone drinks that we don't have to worry about anymore, like Von Douche or Energia.
I feel that now that it's been mentioned, people are going to be wondering, what are those? These are drinks that we'd rather not visit, such as Clamato.
That's what I said, Energia. That's what it was called.
It was called Energia?
It was Energia by the makers of Clamato, because Clamato is like clam and tomato juice.
Oh.
But yeah, it was basically an energy drink that was tomato juice and clams, and it was shit.
Wasn't that what made
we can
my
swear
blood?
now. We're not on the radio.
I know. Ha! Ship his fucking cocksucker motherfucking tits fart turd and twat.
And people have stopped listening to us.
I kind of wish that we would still do those ones just because it was really fun to just rip into these terrible ideas for energy drinks, but we're not doing a terrible idea today. Except we are. We're doing a good brand, but a terrible idea.
Yeah, and it's a really ironic place to start as well. A little bit of history for you. Back in the day, there was really only 3 energy drink companies with a couple of fly-by-nights. And the big 3 then they're still the big 3 today. Red Bull, Rockstar, and Monster. Monster, of course, being the largest of the energy drink companies that is not Red Bull. Produced by Hansen's Energy, who, if you remember, they had their own energy drink back in the day that was pretty terrible.
YJ Stinger?
No.
Not YJ Stinger?
No, it was just called Hansen's, and it came in like a much bigger can, and it wasn't carbonated, it was really thin, it was kind of like Gatorade.
Sponsored by, of course, the Hanson Pop Group, if I am mistaken. I am mistaken.
And they competed with themselves by launching Monster, which ended up defeating their own flagship. Good old classic Monster Energy in the green can.
If you don't know it by now, then you've probably been under a rock. The unfortunate thing about Monster is now they're just associated with like tap out douchebags at this point.
Pretty much anything that has to do with like extreme sports.
And not to sound like a hipster, but we were kind of into that before they got that way, and it was just through reviews like these where we had to taste everything and just compare it, and we found that 2 of these 3s came out on top. It was Monster and Rockstar, but we're not talking about Rockstar right now, we're talking about Monster.
Yeah, and there's a couple of others that hit the top of the list as well.
Well, listen,
but we'll get to those later on. Because I don't even think you can buy them anymore.
Let's actually.
And again, another thing we can do for another show is, like top 5 worst drinks of all time that aren't made anymore, and we can just flash back to them.
Knowing you probably still have a couple kicking around just for fuck's sake.
Not anymore. I don't think I do. Unfortunately, I know I held on to a bunch of YJ Stinger for a long time.
I think it was one of those things where we would just shove at our friends and be like, "Here, taste this. It's so bad, you have to."
I remember at Ozfest when they were pouring YJ Stinger for free, and it was awful.
So you can keep going and rock out all day. No, thank you. I'd rather take a nap during Ozzy's set.
And I remember we handed some to Matt the Lumberjack, and he sipped it and he screamed.
Ha ha ha! It tasted like bumblebees in your mouth.
It's like oh, it's sticking my tongue.
Yeah.
With the nice odor of armpits.
We haven't even introduced today's drink, though.
No, we haven't. But basically, flashing back to Monster and the fact that they're one of the biggest is they've continued to try to reinvent themselves and stay relevant doing other types of drinks.
It's run out of ideas.
Yeah, earlier on, they had some pretty good ideas and released some pretty decent products, but they've kind of been, I don't know, sending the water boy up to bat, for a manner of speaking.
The way I would think about it is the earlier ones, they were good ideas, but they were obvious ones. Diet Monster, low-carb Monster, coffee Monster. But today's is along the lines of why? Why bother? It takes away everything that is Monster.
Yeah, and basically what they've decided to do is take all of the soul out of Monster with this latest release, which is Monster Unleaded.
Unleaded. Sounds good because I don't want to be getting cancer or whatever it is that lead does to you.
Yeah, so basically that tells you right off the bat that they left something out.
Yes,
something that used to be important.
Clearly it was the lead, and which means that Monster before would kill you. Wait, that's not what they mean at all.
And we at News of the Caffeinated, the whole basis of our show is the fact that we're reviewing and presenting things that have to do with, you know, the caffeine nation. Things that have caffeine at its heart, and this does not.
Monster did have caffeine at its heart, but then they bring out the apparently caffeine equals lead.
I don't know. Trying to be witty, I guess, but Monster Unleaded is basically regular Monster without the caffeine. They're like, oh, we have the energy blend in there. There's the taurine and everything else. But if you look carefully, right down there in bright green Monster letters, caffeine 0.
Caffeine 0.
And yet they still tell you to consume responsibly.
Why, though? Why? That just tells me that everything else that's in Monster is much more unhealthy than I realized.
And basically, here's their justification for going down this route. Our good friend Gustav sounds like an asshole already.
Fuck
Who
Gustav.
drinks Monster at odd hours, has a saying, "You can never get enough of a good thing." Well, for mere mortals who may be sensitive to caffeine, too much may mean not falling asleep till next Tuesday.
AKA this guy's a pussy.
Or getting as nervous as a new lover before that first kiss.
He can't be too caffeinated before a date.
No worries, we've got you covered. You're not a condom, Monster. New Monster Unleaded has the same great original Monster taste, and we do mean great. Now they're Tony the Tiger. But is formulated with a new unique energy blend to deliver a boost without caffeine.
Can I point out that the only thing that I've noticed while I've taken a glance at the nutrition facts is that the sugar content is even higher than regular Monster. It's at 28 grams, whereas the regular Monster is at 27 grams. So all you're getting from this can of Monster is an additional sugar high without the caffeine that helps you burn through it faster.
So you're going to crash even harder.
Exactly. It's a stronger case for diabetes.
I find that amusing. I didn't notice the sugar bit, but one of the reasons they started putting caffeine in soft drinks to begin with was to provide bitterness, to offset so that they wouldn't taste so sweet.
My prediction for this is that it's going to be super sweet, and I don't mean that in like a slang, oh man, this is going to be so sweet. This is going to be like, sweet!
Now you can be like Gustav and go for it whenever you want. Unleash the caffeine-free beast. Ooh.
Gustav, you're an asshole. Look, we can't give a proper review without trying the stuff. I'm just still wondering why they did this. It's like people that are trying to be edgy because of a label, but not get any of the benefits that the original product is meant to advertise.
You ever have one of those, like, late-night thoughts where, like, you know, this might be good if it wasn't for this, and you're like, wait a second,
why
this
not?
is because of this. And I actually had a thought, I kind of want to drink an energy drink right now, but I don't want anything caffeinated.
That's addiction speaking.
And I was like, what did I just say? It was because I wanted that weird bitter flavor. Yeah, and I guess, you know, trying to play devil's advocate, that's what they might be going.
You are Gustav's market.
Like Pavlov's dog, I'm Gustav's market.
Just like that. That could be a new science thing.
Anytime you have a bad idea and you go through with it,
Gustav's market.
Yeah, it's Gustav's market because that's where you're going to sell it.
I don't know.
It's right in the strip mall next to Big Lots where they send all the shitty energy drinks that no one buys in a regular store.
And then you need to feel better about yourself, so you go to the Chinese buffet next door. I would say
to wash away my sins
in Kung Pao chicken. I would say that you just inadvertently proved that Gustav had a good idea, though, by saying that you've had this craving that these things are marketed towards.
Yeah, that strange bitter taste. And I guess, you know, when I want that now, I'll just drink a beer.
I think it's just the physical addiction of caffeine that happens sometimes to some people. Whatever.
Sometimes you just want a flavor.
All right.
You know?
But we need to do a review in order to get a all-around found unbiased thing for this. And for this unbiased review, we have brought back the blindfold.
Okay, so basically to go over the rules of how we do these tests, they're on a scale of 1 to 10, with 0.5s in the middle. 10 being the greatest thing you've ever put in your mouth, and 0 being this is battery acid, and Matt the Lumberjack will run away screaming, stripping his clothes off.
10 is basically a caffeinated orgasm.
Slash effectiveness if it's a product that isn't necessarily a consumable, but is caffeinated. A notable example, shower shock soap.
Maybe it was strictly placebo effect, but when I used shower shock caffeinated soap, I started to feel something. But we're not reviewing that now.
No, we're not. I'm just for an example, because there are products out there that are caffeinated and aren't
and have a terrible taste, like shower shock soap.
Yeah,
I don't want to think about that. Ooh.
What we're going to do, just to have a little transparency as well, is this blind taste test. We're also going to have the old granddad, standard, regular, no frills Monster. Hasn't been tampered with. Lid is closed. And Tom's got Monster Low-Carb right there, which is their second generation energy drink. That was the point where they're like, ooh, we have 2 drinks now.
That was like really early on in the Monster taste.
It was.
So we've got 2 classics and a brand new, potentially horrible idea, but we're not going to know what we're going to be drinking.
Exactly.
Hence the blindfold. So anyway, who's going to start it off?
Well, you've got the blindfold, so go ahead and put that on.
All right, we'll do.
And what we're going to do is Tom's going to blindfold himself. For the sake of science, we're going to pour the drinks into glasses.
To point out, the texture on the glasses is different, but I don't know what glasses it's going to be getting.
They're flutes, so grab the stem.
Yes, but the important thing is I don't even know what drink is going to be going into what flute, so it doesn't even matter what part of it I grab.
Exactly.
I'm still not going to know what
even if I
was poured.
I'm going to fill them in line, but it doesn't matter which one I'm.
You mix it up, because I remember what flutes were where on the table.
That's why I said I can give them to you in any order that I want.
That is true. I can smell something.
There's that.
I'm guessing that is regular Monster based on the smell.
Well, I'm actually going to pour all 3 before I hand you one.
I smell the sweetness. I smell that sweet stuff, baby. That sweet stuff's going up my nose. It's a Dr. Rockstar!
I almost went in and took whiffs of all these, and I'm like, that's gonna
give an indication.
That's gonna be bad science. So
I will do my whiffs, and then I will do my tastes. Ew, I just found some moisture on the microphone. I thought it might have been an energy drink that splattered there. My caffeine addiction is so much, I licked that, and I was like,
you licked the mic condom?
That wasn't.
At least this isn't in the radio station, and you're following Nick Mueller.
Oh.
All right, so here's glass number 1.
This is like a wine tasting. Well, I'm not even tasting it yet, but I know that this is the low carb because I have that little bit of an acidic scent to it. It just has that aspartame flavor in my nostrils.
Nose flavor. Oh, it's got a delicate bouquet, it does.
Nope. That doesn't have the aspartame after. Wait. All right. This isn't just a guessing game. This is supposed to be a review. Trying to get out of the guessing game mindset. It's got a good flavor. I taste the caffeine, though. Wait.
Now I'm regretting letting you go first because you do take your sweet-ass time.
Well, there's 2 flavor profiles. There's the flavor profile of a sip, and then there's a guzzle. And with the guzzle, this is definitely the low carb in my mind, and I would still give it 7 out of 10 from what it was before, because the aftertaste is just what kicks it for me. I hate that I know that I'm able to kicks it down from a really high level. You're not like kicks it into overdrive. Pass me the next one, in the interest of not letting me ADD off the charts. Sweet. No after scent. That's new. That is extra sweet, almost honey-esque in flavor, and I'm not getting any of the caffeine bitterness afterwards. In fact, I'm not getting any bitterness afterwards. It's very sweet. I'm guessing that this is the sugar-free and that...
You mean caffeine-free?
Yeah, god damn it. I'm guessing that this is the caffeine-free. Wow, I forgot what we were doing. That is not... Nope, that is not caffeinated. That is just diabetes going straight for me. It's like somebody melted a lot of sweet tarts. I know that's been our go-to for describing the sweetness, but that seems to be the flavor that comes out in the end. It's extra sugary sweet tarts, but with less of the tart. Please give me drink number 3. The second one, I'm giving it a 6 because it is too generic of a sweet for it to be anything sweet. And I feel like if that is indeed the caffeine-free, then it gets another one knocked off of it just for being caffeine-free and giving you a sugar rush.
Come on.
That was super full. Wow. You're trying to drown me, you dill hole. Oh, god damn it. Apparently it's been a long time because I can't tell if this is the new one or the previous one was. There's less flavor in this one than the previous one.
Well, maybe it's because you drowned your sinuses.
It's always in my sinuses. I never wanted to snort an energy drink. I just want that on record.
Yeah, and there's those kids in 6th grade that chop up the sweet tarts and snort them. You're one-upping them.
I think my palates have changed because no, this is the caffeine-free one. The previous one is the regular Monster. This has got less of the flavor to it. And for the record, it's been about 2 or 3 years since I've drank a regular Monster, so it's going to be a lot harder for me to tell the difference just based on that. But
well, we're not trying to necessarily tell them apart. We're just trying to review them.
That's true. That's true. I think my palate has changed, and I prefer the sugar-free to the regular at this point. So I'm gonna go with still a 6. It tastes so similar. Can I actually have that previous one back again?
No.
All right.
You gave drink number 1 a 7, drink number 2 a 5.5, and drink number 3 a 6.
All right.
All right, so you can go ahead and take your blindfold off. Drink number 1 was Monster Low-Carb.
Called it.
Drink number 2 was Original Monster. And the last one was the caffeine-free, which you did figure out
eventually
at the end, but you still gave a half point higher mark than you gave to the original Monster.
Huh. Interesting. I hadn't thought that through fully. I would have expected myself to give it just based on flavor, though. That's all based on flavor.
Yeah, and that's exactly what we're going for.
I would like to point
biases aside, I prefer this type of drink as to this. That
strictly
goes to show that for what they were going for, though, I guess they might have been close. But that's one man's opinion, and now I will suit up and prepare to do the same. You can either top those off or at least get them all to the same level.
I am gonna pour them back into their containers, and I would like to point out that I would like to give the caffeine-free 1 point less because when I drink something like this, I want that caffeine rush. I want that bit of a buzz.
Yeah, but this is still just based on taste.
This is. But for overall drink review, that's what I'm going to be doing. Can you see anything?
No, I can't even open my eyes because I just...
All right, I have mixed up the glasses.
All right.
All right, I will give you the first one now.
Okay. All right, smells fruity, like Monster. Nothing overly bitter or offensive.
I'm afraid to speak because I might give you ideas.
Yeah, so just let me. I'm talking to myself.
And the magic.
But if I say something dumb like, "Oh, this is this," like you said, "Oh, this is the sugar-free," when you meant the caffeine-free, you're free to correct me. I think this is one of the full sugar ones. It just seems kind of flat to me. Not necessarily in terms of carbonation, but in terms of it doesn't seem like there's a whole lot going on. Although in the end, I kind of have like a shitty tap water taste.
Like rust, like chlorine.
No, like metal. Shitty tap water through old pipes has that metallic taste.
Metal taste. Considering that there were times where Rockstar has sponsored Ozfest, it only fits that it tastes like metal.
Okay, just on terms of flavor, this doesn't really appeal to me. I mean, it's sweet. It's not necessarily bad, but it's not necessarily good. I'm just gonna have to go right in the middle of the road and say this is a 5.
A 5?
Yeah, just a 5.
Wow, that's worse than any other Monster review I believe you've given in history.
Well, we're starting over.
We are starting over.
There's a lot more to compare it to now.
Mm-hmm, which means that they've just upped the bar.
Yeah, bar has been raised, and
they whatever. Being energy drink corporations.
Yeah, exactly. Producers.
All right, here you go.
All right,
drink number 2.
Doesn't seem to have a whole lot of aroma to it at all.
Well, you didn't seem to think that the other one did either. So again, similarities.
Yeah.
part of the reason it might be flat is because I did pour the original drink back into it. Is it that confusing?
I'm pretty sure this is the low carb. It's slightly more medicinal. I don't know, it's still kind of sweet though. I've also only drank like 2 energy drinks in the last 2 months, so.
Honestly, I've gone off of energy drinks and I've just been going for the coffee that's provided for me at work, so.
But if anything, it makes our reviews a little more true to life. Yeah, exactly, because I'm trying to remember like the taste of things beforehand. But
in the long ago, back when I could afford energy drinks because I didn't have to pay my student loans yet. God.
But yeah, this seems to have a little bit more in the aftertaste than the other one did. Then we'll go 6 on this one, so you can take that away. All right, and this is number 3. Yeah, about the same, I guess, smell-wise.
I guess I just have a more refined nasal passage than you.
Well, no, I also think there was more carbonation in yours, so there was more aroma. But you know, you took your sweet-ass time, so.
I definitely did that, and that's what she said. Whoa.
Little snarf.
Snarf. Snufferp. Whoa, that sure is a face.
I mean, it's odd how these are all, you know, supposed to be the same drink, but they taste so drastically different. I mean, this does not taste like the other two did.
Really?
Did I say the first one was...
You said full sugar for the first one.
Okay. I think this is the regular Monster. I think the first one was the unleaded. Mainly just because... in perusing the ingredients on the unleaded, they do have artificial sweeteners in it.
Oh, do they? So not only...
I at least saw sucralose, which is Splenda, down in the ingredients list, but this tastes a lot more like, you know, syrupy sweetness than the other one did.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. Didn't I say for the caffeine-free that I tasted the...
Yeah, you said it was a bigger honey taste, and but that was... No, I think that was... I don't remember. I don't know.
That was so 5 minutes ago.
But yeah, this is... Yeah, I think this is the regular Monster. It tastes like a full sugar energy drink, which is a taste that doesn't necessarily appeal to me, but there's nothing really bad about it. But there's no bitterness, and I'm kind of missing bitterness, and that's kind of what's confusing me. I'm going to put this one right between the other two, so... Drink number 1 is still going to be a 5. This one will be a 5.5, and then drink number 2 is going to be a 6.
All right. I will let you take your blindfold off. It was sugar-free, low-carb.
I mean caffeine-free.
God damn it, English language!
So I got it right.
You got everything right eventually same as me. We had the same mix-up, didn't we?
We did. It was...
Yeah. There's something to that whole flavor profile. I mean, I'm used to the original Monster having some bitterness to it, but... Maybe that's why they added the artificial sweetener to the caffeine-free. And I'm pretty sure that the bitterness of the original Monster came from the caffeine, and they tried to replicate it with the sugar substitute, which has a little bit of an taste of bitterness.
That's still so hilarious that they put artificial sweetener in that one, but that still has more sugar than this one. So they put in more sugar and they put in artificial sweetener.
So and yet that's double shot of sweet.
And yet still somehow this one, the unleaded, there's that slight bitterness there that I expected out of the regular Monster. Maybe it's the artificial sweetener.
I think it is the artificial sweetener because I'm just used to that's the flavor I associate with diet sodas, diet energy drinks, or diet whatever.
Right above salt.
Salt? How much salt water am I drinking? Shit.
180 milligrams.
Oh, God! My doctor's not going to be happy with me.
For the whole can, it's actually 15% of your daily value. Actually, no, it's the same amount of salt. So.
All right, good to know that Monster energy drinks have the same amount of salt in them. Oh my, there's more salt in the low carb.
Well, salt, you know, in terms of taste, helps offset bitterness, which is why, you know, if you have a really bitter cup of coffee, put a few dashes of salt in it.
Oh, I know.
Yep.
Or beer. Same with beer.
What's interesting, though, there's almost a little bit more bitterness in the unleaded than in the low carb. I think in terms of just bitterness, the unleaded gets that. I don't know if it's the slightly more medicinal taste to it. I think it's got a little bit more bitterness.
I disagree. I think that maybe on the back of the tongue, but I feel like I'm getting more bitterness from the low carb. But it's a very close comparison. Flavor-wise, they got all three of these to be very similar.
Yeah, we scored them, you know, within, what, a point and a half of each other.
That's true, especially when we are only considering the flavor. But I need the caffeine. It's just what I do.
So in closing, as much as we badmouth this going into it, just based on flavor, it's not half bad. but it has no soul.
You gotta keep in mind the stuff that you're putting into your body, at least to some degree, and keeping in mind that I drink Monster when I want to get the caffeine buzz, I want to wake up and go into full hummingbird mode. This stuff, it's got a lot of sugar, and it's got extra artificial sweetener, so you're getting that extra sweetness on top, so maybe the best you can hope for is a placebo effect of, oh, my body's tasting sweet stuff, I'm getting some energy from this, ha 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 ha, it tastes like Monster, I better associate it with caffeine and wake up because of that. Instead of getting the chemicals that you can use to make yourself wake up a little bit. And I'm realizing just how much of a caffeinated junkie I sound like at this point. Keep in mind that if I'm ever in a coma, all you gotta do is put some of this into my IV. One of these, preferably one with caffeine.
The whole point of, at least for us, drinking one of these drinks is because we want the caffeine.
A pick-me-up.
In terms of the energy blend, the taurine and everything else, as far as I'm concerned, you know, that's just there to try to make the drink seem healthier. I don't know. The B vitamins and
they do stuff. They do something or other, and it's supposed to be good, but they've taken away.
But it's the caffeine, and that's the main vehicle.
How ironic that we're doing a News for the Caffeinated after years of a hiatus, and we're reviewing a non-caffeinated thing. But the important thing is we've got the extra caffeine from the other stuff. I wonder if you compare myself at the beginning of this podcast to the end of it, if you can actually see like a difference in the amount of energy that I have. Maybe people will be able to zoom in and see my eyeballs vibrating a little bit.
Well, we are drinking 3 energy drinks between us. I mean, granted, only 2 of them are caffeinated, but...
True, but we were getting enough sugar to kill a horse.
Well, except for the low-carb. I don't even know which one this is anymore.
I don't know. It's all mixed up. The important thing is that I'm fixing my addiction. I've missed it.
In closing, it's the end of our first and of many to hopefully
we shall see
reincarnation of News to the Caffeinated. Definitely subscribe to our channel, News to the Caffeinated. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/News to the Caffeinated, and send us your suggestions and send us your hate mail. We'll make sure to wipe it between our butt cheeks. Thanks, and see you later.
Although it would be better if that camera were still on.